A while ago, I was on my way to a gig. We were on our way to a gig in southwest London, and we passed a building that I thought I recognised, and I realised that it was one of the old sewage works. And you might think sewage works are unremarkable things. They're not. Back in 1850-something, there was a thing called the Great Stink. Some of you may have heard of this. And the Great Stink was when the smell from the River Thames became so appalling that even the members of Parliament could no longer stand it. And members of Parliament, of course, have a long history of having their faces in piles of shite. But it was too much even for them. And so they inaugurated a kind of a competition, I suppose, for people to bid for how you could solve the problem of the smell of the River Thames. And it was solved by a genius engineer called Joseph Bazalgette. And he created the entire London sewage system. It's one of those extraordinary feats of engineering that characterised that era of history. It cleaned up everything, cleaned up the Thames. It completely transformed people's lives. They didn't know before that a lot of the diseases that killed the great unwashed were caused by the river and the effluent in it, and basically the effects of shite being in your midst. Because I think we all know that no one benefits from piles of shite in their midst, of whatever kind it may be. This eradicated typhoid and cholera, and for the purposes of this song, dysentery, because I wanted a song with the word dysentery in it, and I've got one. Changed everybody's lives, was the most extraordinary thing, and it was an era in which all these inventions and great creations were made by these type people. And if you fast forward through the next century, the 20th century, which many of you were alive in, most of the great inventions of the first half or so of that were the sort of things that transformed the lives of your parents or grandparents, depending on how old you are. So we moved from things like railways and sewage that affected everybody's daily life into things in your home. So you had the invention, for example, of things that made everybody's life easier at home. Nobody ever said, I can't see the point of a fridge. You had all these things, fridges, cookers you could use, radio, television, the motor car. Central heating. Whoever said, what's the point of central heating? Not me. I can remember it arriving. We were late to get it in Coventry. Much later than Woking, I imagine, by probably decades. And what then were the great inventions of our modern times? Most of the inventions have been technology. And at least 50% of technology doesn't work. And of the remaining 50%, a lot of it is shite. And that is the subject of this song. So back in the Victorian era, these great people engineered something that got rid of all the crap in the world. And then along came Twitter to put it back in. The song's called The Great Stink. It's considerably shorter than the introduction. Great stink hung in the air, and everybody could smell it everywhere. Oh, cholera and typhoid and dysentery, they drop like flies from all that disease. They said, oh, what we need is some ingenuity to take it away so we can live and breathe. Along came someone, said I can fix that, built a system to deal with that. their lives were better was crystal clear, 'cause all that stink and disease had disappeared. Then along came someone with some ingenuity, said, I got something sure for popularity. What we need is a nasty smell of air, chance for everyone to foul the air. So the great stink was gone back then, but the great stink is here again. Now the new stinks are different, a kind of smell, just as bad though. This fresh hell forms in the head. Does this kind of human waste has to come out with indecent haste? It used to be that ingenuity made a difference, beneficially gave us things that we could see, changed our lives usefully. Oh, now the great stink was gone back then, but the great stink